It's a decision that's already led to clashes between Palestinians and the Israeli army. And outcry isn't just isolated to the Palestinian territories. Turkey has threatened to cut ties with the UAE over its deal to normalise relations with Israel. But away from the diplomatic fallout, it could open new trade routes.
More than just money from UAE and expertise from Israel is also the potential market in UAE, particularly in Dubai. It's a very tech-savvy population there.
The UAE also has free zones, such as here in Jebel Ali port, where companies can operate with less regulation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said they're planning to import from such zones. And once COVID-19 restrictions subside, tourism is likely to be another area for growth. Until now, Israeli tourists have largely been unable to enter the UAE. There have been some business executives able to visit. They've largely had dual citizenship and done so on non-Israeli passports. This deal could pave the way to new visa allocations that would lead to increased foot traffic and investment here. Abu Dhabi's oil fields could provide export opportunities for energy-hungry Israel, but analysts also point to renewables.
Israel is actually one of the regional leaders in renewables, and particularly in solar power, as is the UAE. So UAE has the largest solar power capacity in the region, and then Egypt is next, and then Israel. So they're quite compatible in terms of cooperating on solar power. On areas like desalination, they both rely on desalinated water.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spoken of a direct flight route to the UAE via Saudi Arabia's airspace. That would take Riyadh's blessing, something no Israeli planes currently have. Officially, Saudi Arabia has often taken a tougher line on the prospect of Israeli ties.
Frankly, the Israelis have always eyed the big prize, which is Saudi Arabia. And that has always been seen as the big prize, and certainly they wanted to deal with the UAE in its own terms, but also as a backdoor to Saudi Arabia.
Israel has championed the deal to normalise ties with the UAE, even showcasing the UAE's flag on its buildings. Meanwhile, Emiratis and officials have been more tight-lipped about what it might mean for political and economic ties. Greaves, CGTN in Dubai.